The dusty wind carried the scent of the open plains. Jake Turner, a rugged cowboy with quiet eyes and calloused hands, stopped by a small roadside diner after a long day of cattle work. Behind the counter stood Lila, a shy young woman with gentle movements and a scar along her jawline, a mark she tried to hide beneath her hair. When Jake ordered his coffee, she barely looked up. Her hands trembled as she poured it, spilling a little on the counter. "Sorry," she whispered. Jake smiled softly. "Don't be. Happens to me all the time." She finally glanced at him, just for a second, and something unspoken flickered between them. Lila lived in a small town where everyone remembered her for her accident, a fire when she was 10 that left her scarred. People didn't see her heart, only her face. Jake, on the other hand, was new in town, a man with his own ghosts, carrying loss behind his calm eyes. Every evening, he returned to that diner. He didn't say much, just sat by the window and watched her work. One night, she finally asked, "Why do you keep coming here?" Jake leaned back and said, "Because it feels like peace when you're around." Her cheeks flushed. No one had ever said something like that to her before. The next morning, the town's fair began. Lila stood at the edge of the crowd, watching everyone laugh and dance. She felt small, invisible. Jake found her standing alone, holding a worn-out shawl around her shoulders. "You should join in," he said. "I don't belong there," she whispered. "I'm not pretty enough." For a long moment, Jake said nothing. Then he stepped closer, his voice low and steady. "You're wrong," he said. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." Her eyes widened. For the first time in years, someone had looked at her, not with pity, but with awe. And that changed everything. Days turned into weeks. Jake started teaching her how to ride a horse, to trust herself again. She laughed more often, a sound like wind through summer grass. But rumors began spreading, cruel voices in town calling her the scarred girl chasing a cowboy. One evening, Lila sat by the lake, tears slipping down her face. Jake found her there, silent under the silver moonlight. "They're right," she said. "You deserve someone whole." He sat beside her, his hat in his hands. "I'm not whole either," he whispered. "But maybe together, we can be." Then came tragedy. Jake was thrown from his horse during a storm, badly injured. Lila stayed by his side through the night, tending his wounds, refusing to leave. When he finally opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was her, exhausted, tear-streaked, but smiling. "You stayed," he said weakly. "Where else would I go?" He reached for her hand. "You know, you were right once, you said you weren't pretty enough. But that was a lie you were told, not the truth you lived." She looked at him, tears glistening. "And what's the truth? That you're the reason my heart beats again." Months later, the fields turned golden again. Jake had recovered, and the ranch was alive with laughter. Lila no longer hid her scar. She wore her hair up, her face open to the sun. The diner became hers, a small, warm place filled with travelers, stories, and music. Jake walked in one evening, hat in hand, eyes full of that same gentle fire. "You never told me what you see when you look at me," she teased. He smiled. "I see the woman who taught me what beauty really means." Outside, the wind rolled over the plains, carrying their laughter into the fading light. And somewhere in that sound, love lived, quiet, honest, and everlasting.